But speaking of great former women wrestlers, Ashely Massaro, we are very pleased to have her join us on the program, and here she is now. Ashely, thank you for joining us on Over the Top Sports Show.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're doing excellent, and it's been a while since we've seen or heard from you. What's been going on in your life lately?
Well, I'm doing a bunch of conventions and doing wrestling shows here and there, a couple of indie events here and there in Illinois and California, and just working my butt off.
Yeah, I mean, and you always have. I mean, you started on Long Island with us. We're all on Long Island here. I'm from Huntington. A couple guys from the South Shore as well. But how does one go from
totally my neck of the woods?
How do you go from there? I mean, you really made it big in so many different avenues, not just wrestling, which, to maybe guys like us that are big wrestling fans, but, I mean, you were on Survivor, you cover of Playboy and all this. How did you get into all of that?
It was wild. There was a lot of right place at the right time moments in my life, but I've always hustled hard. I've always worked hard. I've always tried to, do my best. And I've always had a sort of soft heart and gratefulness for the fans that put me there. Winning the WWE Diva search was the fans voting in. They were calling in and voting. And so, everything that I've attained, I feel, has come from the wrestling fans. So I'm eternally grateful. I love my fans. I'm very interactive with them. I play words with friends with some of them. I'm very interactive with my fans.
And how did you, get onto this, Diva search? It's just kind of just like a crapshoot. You go out there. I mean, had you wrestled before that? Did you have any knowledge of the business, or did you kind of go in there blind and just make it do it?
I had no knowledge of the business on the inside. I just had grown up watching wrestling and was, did the casting for it and didn't think by any chance in hell that I would make it. And I was in the right place at the right time. I had just won the Miss Hawaiian Tropic USA pageant, and I was in Las Vegas, and WWE was casting the Diva search there, and I was just happened to be in the right place. And I was like, oh my God, no way, this can't be happening. I would love to cast for you guys, and they let me, and next thing you know, I was. And then after that was, I got chosen to be one of the 8 contestants. And after that, and I just came down to be the one that won. And it was just insane. My life totally changed completely 100%.
You got on the cover of Playboy, which is quite an honor. How did you end up getting the cover of that? How did that end up happening? And do you have any stories you can tell us about the late, great Hugh Hefner?
Well, doing Playboy was, the cover of Playboy for me was a huge honor, like you said. It was something that I wanted to do for a long time. And when I was with WWE, they had Candice Michelle on the cover of Playboy the year before me. And her cover came out amazing, and her pictorial looked amazing. And I was like, oh my gosh, this would be so great. And Johnny Ace at the time came to me and said that they were interested in shooting. And I was like, oh my God, no way, because I'm interested in doing it too. And yeah, and so that's how that happened. And I went, I shot out there in LA at the mansion. I stayed at the mansion while I was there, and Hef was nothing but a gentleman. He was super great, and yeah, super nice. He was very set in his ways. If I'm going to say anything at all about Hef, he had traditions, and Sunday night was game night, and they would play backgammon, and Monday night was old movie night, and it was you watched black and white films, and Wednesday night was going out to dinner night. Thursday night was the girls' night out. The everybody goes out with Hef, and he just has this schedule that he maintains, and he does not deviate from it whatsoever. So that was a little quirky fact about him that I could think of.
Ashely,
the experience of doing Playboy was amazing.
Yeah, and we put your cover up on Facebook, and the amount of feedback that it got, just so you know, you still have a ton of fans and quite the following.
Awesome.
Your time
That's
in
great to
WWE was called more of like the Diva era, and even your matches, some of them were bra and panty matches, and now they've kind of moved now they're wrestlers, the women. It's a women's division, the women's revolution. Do you wish that they didn't take that long to move into more of a wrestling aspect and less on like body parts and body features? And what do you think of the whole revolution?
It's awesome to I remember hearing about when Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks came, and I remember like Googling it, and I was like, wow, that was cool when they did all the submissions. And yeah, it was a really cool moment. And what they're doing now, I think, is incredible. Yeah, they're moving forward in the business, like doing things that, you know, I never thought were possibilities for the women wrestlers. You know, from where I was, like when I was there, I was so accustomed to doing bikini contests and bra and panties matches and silly things like that. Like I really didn't think that it would ever get to a level where you're having a women's Royal Rumble.
Right.
You know,
and speaking of that women's Royal Rumble,
very cool.
Very cool.
What's your whole take on the women's Royal Rumble this Sunday at the Royal Rumble? I can't believe the women are finally getting a big match like that. The men. I'm actually more excited for the women's than I am for the men.
I know.
Do you have
I know. It's super exciting.
What's your whole thought on it?
Well, I don't really follow as much. I don't watch WWE as much as I probably should, or as much as I used to, because I kind of miss it when I watch it. But yeah, so I'm not sure who my pick would be to win the Royal Rumble, but I'm just excited that they're having it, period.
And you're not driving down to Philly yourself, are you? No surprises from Ashely this weekend?
Oh, you never know. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, some of my favorite people you got to work with. Maria, one of my all-time favorites, and actually even Santino Marella, just a guy that I thought was great. What was it like?
Yeah, he was hilarious.
What was it like working with them, you know, on stage, behind the scenes and all that? Because I thought he was basically he's very underrated with how funny and good of a character he was. I
think he was hilarious. Like, even just as a person, you know, like backstage, he's so funny. Like, all the time. So I think it was great. And Maria and I were friends and always got along well. And, yeah, I have no qualms with them either at all.
Have to ask you about doing Survivor. And, you know, you've said everything so far has been right place, right time. But what made you even want to get into this? And then your time in China, I mean, just speak to that because you spent 6 days over there before you were kicked off. How real is it? Like, what do you see on TV? Is everything legit?
Okay. Well, first of all, I've never even been camping before. And they came to me with the idea, and I was like, I don't know that I would be that great at this. You know, I was talking to Kevin Dunn about it. And I'm like, I really don't think that I would be too great at it. And he was like, no, don't worry about it. You know, as long as you don't get voted off first, it'll be fine. And, you know, at the time, I could leave TV without the world crumbling. You know what I mean? They couldn't send certain people because, you know, they need them to hold up TV. And, like, I wasn't one of those people, so I could go, you know. So they basically set it up, and I went to LA for the screening, and they do all these tests on you and all this stuff. And I didn't find out that it was going to be in China until 10 days before.
Oh, my God.
I thought it was going to be on a beach or something like that. And when I found out that it was going to be in the middle of the woods in China, I was flipping out, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be bad. But I was like, still, I'm going to make the best of it. And I had been reading that book, The Secret, at the time. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it's like It's a very like motivating book, and like you're supposed to be able to will things into existence, and like it's just ridiculous. And I was so wrapped up in it, and I'm like, I'm gonna win this, and I'm gonna give all the money to charity, and I'm gonna do this. I was like talking, like just basically like pumping myself up for this show. I get there, and the first day even, I was like, let's do this, I want to be a team leader, blah, blah, blah. And like I was all over the place. I was excited. I'm chopping down bamboo trees and whatnot. And then like I got thirsty and there's no water. It is realer than people think. Like I can't tell you how many fans have come up to me and asked me like, oh, did they give you guys an apple, or did they give you any water on the side when they're not filming or whatever? No, they don't give you anything. Like, you are done. Like, you don't get anything at all. We didn't have water for 6 days. The entire time I was there, we didn't have water. So I drank
what was the first thing you ate when you came home?
Oh my gosh, I don't even remember. I was so stick thin. And I'm skinny to begin with, but like I was like Skeletor. Like it was brutal. But so I drank the muddy water, and I was just like so dehydrated, and I got so sick, and that was it. Like stick the fork in me, I was done. I wanted to go home. I'm like, this is like making me look so bad. I just want to go back to WWE. Yeah, so it was a nightmare. People still ask me about it to this day, and I'm always like, oh, it gives me shivers just thinking about it. It was so bad. Because after you get voted off, I'm probably going to get in trouble for telling all this because I signed a disclosure, a non-disclosure agreement. But I'm going to tell you guys anyway. They don't send you home when you get voted off. They don't want, like, spoilers or whatever to happen, and they have these very strict rules. And I'm like, listen, I work for a company that has kayfabe. Like, we're not, like, I'm like, we're not. We shoot a live show and we shoot a tape show. Like I know how to keep my mouth shut. Like, so you don't have to worry. And they were like, no, we don't bend the rules for anybody, and this is just how it is. So they basically, I thought when I got voted off, I was going to be able to go home. And they waited until I got voted off, and they put me in a cabin with no electricity.
Oh my
like
God!
Like a cabin in the woods, in the middle of the woods in China, worse than where I was. And I had to stay there, locked up for 40 days.
Oh my God!
That is insane.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. Getting voted off, what I thought was going to save me. But it turned out that it was even worse than being out there. I'm like, I would have rather taken my chances out there.
Seriously?
Oh my God!
Yeah,
by yourself,
it was terrible.
No electricity in China. In China?
Yeah, in China, and they have your passport, they have your credit cards, they have everything. They take it all away from you. So like you can't like get away. And I was like literally like Rambo. Like I left my cabin at a certain time every day and like sprinted through the woods for like 5 miles and found where all the executives were staying, and the producers and whomever. They were staying at like a real life hotel. And there was like a tent where they had all the cameras and equipment, and I knew they had a satellite phone in there because they had to communicate. And so I one day I would run and just watch and see like what time people went into that tent and whatever. And I waited and waited and waited, and I finally just sprinted to the tent one day and found a satellite phone, and I called 2 people. I called Kevin Dunn, and I called my mom. And I'm like, get me the F out of here. So they were able to, like, get me out 38 days later. So technically I didn't spend 40 days there. I spent 38 days there.
Now, in your cabin, is it just you, or is it the other people that get voted off? Are you actually alone?
Just me.
Oh my God.
Just me. And you want to hear something terrible? They came and told me, this was around the time of the Chris Benoit tragedy, and they came and told me someone on the same show as me has passed away, and they wouldn't tell me who.
Oh God.
Oh my God!
Sarah, they sent this, like they have like a psychiatrist that travels with you, I guess, because people do go crazy, and they came and delivered the news that someone had passed away, and they wouldn't tell me who it was, and I was like, why did you even tell me then to begin with? You know,
so then how did
like
you find out that it was Chris Benoit?
I found out that it was Chris Benoit when I came back from China. When I was flying back from China, and I had to connect in LA, and I walked past the newsstand, and I saw it on the cover of People magazine.
Wow.
And was just gutted.
Was the locker room still shook when you got back about that?
Oh yeah, that didn't pass for a long time. I mean, it's still something that is just so incredibly sad.
Oh, thank you. 11:22, Ashely Massaro joining us. Just wanted to ask you, a little bit about one more thing about WWE for me. What was your career highlight? Was it wrestling at Wrestlemania? Was it winning the Diva search? Was it showing your Playboy cover, or was it maybe something that I'm missing? What was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment ever. My favorite moment ever was probably my entrance to Wrestlemania at the Sundome in Orlando. I forget which number, 22, 23. Am I wrong? Yeah, it wasn't 22 or 23. Yeah, but that moment, like I got to the arena early, and I came out and I saw like the empty arena. And I was like, wow, this place is going to be filled with people. I was like kind of blown away because it was so big and it was outdoors and like there was no roof, and it just made it look so much bigger and more intimidating. And I was just like, wow. And I remember, just being like blown away with the size of it. And then, later that night when I made my entrance, I came out and the crowd was just insane, and the lights and the fireworks and everything was just so incredible. That moment was just like wow, I can't believe I freaking made it to WrestleMania.
That's awesome.
Like I was just totally like humbled and honored at the same time. Just like wow.
A moment very few people get to experience.
Right.
Now, us as fans, we don't really get to see what goes on in the locker room or anything like that. This is over the top sports. I was wondering if you could tell us who was on top of who when backstage that we didn't really know about.
That you didn't know about? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not the one to ask. I don't have any good juicy gossip about the girls or anybody.
Okay. Do you have any backstage stories you can tell us?
Any wrestling stories? Any backstage stories, you said?
Yes.
I'd have to think.
Like you had when you first started, you had a feud with Michelle McCool. Did you know that she was dating The Undertaker at that time, or that was there any connection there?
No, actually, it took a while before like everybody started putting two and two together. And I think we were on like a European tour. And we just kind of noticed that they were hanging out a lot, and I was like, oh snap, I think they're getting together. I'm like, that's awesome. So it was I mean, it was like I always said like the girls are like the guys are like the greasers and the girls are like the pink ladies. You know what I mean? Like it's hard not to date your coworkers because you're on the road with them all year and you don't get to see people back home that often. So like relationships happen, in the company, and they try to discourage that, but it happens all the time. So
one last one for me. Just was there anybody, male, female, somebody that you looked up to or that took you under their wing, or somebody that you in
hands
WWE,
down, Trish Stratus. Hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a huge Trish Stratus fan to begin with, and getting to work with her like right away when she made her comeback, I was just like so excited. A little bit of a mark for her.
Listen, I was a 16-year-old boy when Trish Stratus started, so I'm the only one that was a big fan of Trish Stratus when she came out. But
it was awesome.
And she was there this week at Monday Night Raw. She still looks great. She looks like she's in great shape.
She looks
can
amazing.
have another one if she wanted to.
Absolutely.
She is. So hopefully maybe we'll even see her, and who knows, maybe any other surprises. And And listen, any indie shows that you do on Long Island, let us know. We'd love to come out, come watch you in action again. So
I'm doing a show tonight in Poughkeepsie. I don't know if you guys will be around, but just in case the listeners are, I'm doing a show in Poughkeepsie from 3 to 7 tonight at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. It's actually a chicken wing eating contest. Funny enough. I've never done something like this before, but when they asked me to do it, I was like, heck yeah, that sounds fun. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan's going to be there too. And yeah, so it's going to be a good time.
Well, that's awesome. And listen, we'll throw that on our Twitter, so any of our followers in the area want to go up there and they can meet you and take a look at it. That would be great. And like I said, anytime, let us know if you're around the Long Island area. We'd love to come out, support you, and get to meet you.
Thank you so
much. Thank you so much for doing this today.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you so much. You guys have been a pleasure.
Thank you. Ashely Massaro, former WWE superstar, Playboy cover girl, and Survivor. I mean, she survived Survivor in a way that maybe we didn't know.
2 days earlier.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Ashely. We'll talk to you
All right. Thanks so much, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. We'll be back with you guys in just a minute over the Top Sports Radio, 1128 on Saturday morning.
You better hold on tight, 'cause I'm gonna love you nice. I'm gonna do it right. Let me light a fire in you tonight. My eyes have never seen someone who looks like you. I wonder if you dream of my hand loving you, because I know I do, every day and every night, and I know I'll lose control if I can't crush this appetite. This dream is eating me alive. This dream is eating me alive. Can't you see I'm burning up inside? I pray I will not be denied.
You're listening to Over the Top Sports Show, hosted by Robbie D, Big Mike, and Vinny the Shark.